today I'd like to answer some of the questions that have been posted onto the YouTube videos. And I apologize for the delay in getting these answered, but one of the problems we have is there's so little cell service along the trail. And even in some of the towns where you would expect to have better service, it is really hard to upload things like videos. And then we've had some learning curves in trying to do the YouTube video. So there's usually quite a bit of delay between the time we get something posted from the day that I actually video something. So one of the big questions we get has to do with food and cooking. Well, it turns out, by the way, I don't really cook. Stove I use is a Soto Windmaster. There's 3 or 4 similar brands out there, and they all work pretty much the same way, and they all do a really good job, particularly boiling water. So basically all I do is boil water for the most part. And then, so for example, for breakfast, I usually have a triple serving of oatmeal, and usually throw a pile of raisins or cranberries or something in there. So you just, boil some water, throw it in there, eat it up. Then when you're done, you just this up, and that goes into your trash bag. So I use what's called the boil bag method. So everything that I cook, so even something like I'm doing ramen noodles with extra stuff thrown in, I use a freezer bag. It saves on having to clean pots, and also, in my opinion, I don't like to leave food laying around areas where we've been camping. That invites mice and so forth. So that's it. So I have that, and then I have 1 cup that I use solely for coffee. I have another cup that I use for soup in the evening. So most mornings I have as I said, 3 servings of oatmeal, 2 cups of Starbucks coffee, and then leave with about 16 ounces of Tang to wash down during the first couple of hours. At night, I usually have a cup of soup, some sort of freeze-dried dinner, frequently Mountain House, and you want the 2-serving one. Another brand is Peak 2 that I like. Both of those have quite a few calories in them, but not enough. And then I usually have something like freeze-dried fruit as a dessert, and also to balance out some of the nutrition. And one of the things I found is I'm not getting enough calories, so I need to up that, and I've got some ideas, some extra calorie ideas that I need for the rest of the PCT. What other questions? Do I send anything to myself for resupply? Yes. So things that I can't get easily in a regular grocery store. So some things like single packets of soup, which you can't always find, or freeze-dried fruit I send ahead, little packets of olive oil. So I put an ounce of olive oil in all of my dinners, because that gives you another 120 calories of fat, which is kind of hard to come by. So I do resupply at most places, but I also have kind of a hybrid strategy where I go into grocery stores and buy things like oatmeal and most of the daytime eating stuff. So I start eating usually about an hour and a half after I hit the trail, and eat things like Fritos, other chips, candy, energy bars. Usually have a lunch with tortillas, cheese, sausage. Honey is great on tortillas too. And then more nuts and stuff like that all day long. It varies a little bit depending upon what I bought in the store. But I pretty much try and eat all day. and I need to do a better job of that. Trail angels and trail magic. So trail angels are people that help us out. So for example, I was in Big Bear, and that's about 9 miles, as I recall, from the trailhead. And some nice lady, Kathy's her name, makes a habit of looking for hikers and taking them to and from the trail. And she is one of those who will not accept any kind of donations. There are other people that call themselves trail angels and appear to be almost in business, and so they expect some sort of a donation, usually a reasonable amount of money, and I don't really mind paying somebody that's doing a service like that. Particularly when I'm on the trail, I'm anxious to get to or from the trail, particularly getting to town where I can eat. Then there's this thing called trail magic. So I was on a very hot day in Southern California, walked across the road, down the trail a little bit, and here's an ice chest with cold drinks, and a fellow from Germany that I had just met a few hours before, and he's sitting there drinking a cold cola and points down to the ice chest and said, "There's a bunch of cold drinks here." So there's these kind of random acts of kindness by people who you may never meet, never know who did it, and we call that trail magic, and it pops up pretty frequently. I wish it were even more. How do I film the video? So I'm using just a regular Apple iPhone. I wish I had spent more time practicing and doing a better job of taking pictures, and I'm going to practice on that some more. So future plans. So I've done 746 miles, which puts me into the southernmost part of the Sierras. Elevation there topped out at about 11,000 feet. And then you go up from there into the high Sierras. I had looked at doing the entire trail, and in 1 year decided that was highly unlikely that I would be able to do that. I'm 81 years old. I don't think I can hike at that pace for that long. The other part, and it's also probably part of being 81 years old, is I kind of like to move at a little slower pace, particularly for this next 1,900 miles, and because there's some spectacular scenery, and sometimes you just want to enjoy the scenery. And so my plan is to return for season 2 at mile 746 and do the high Sierras, and probably do another 756 miles as the current plan up to Mount Shasta. Hope you come back for season 2, because that is some of the most beautiful section of mountains in the entire world. I've done most of it in the past. Looking forward to doing it again. The other thing that I found out on this trail is I can actually do, and I think this applies to most of us, that I can do more than I thought I could do. So I did this 746 miles with no real physical problems, a little bit of a back injury from a fall, twist, which resolved itself fine. I had only one blister, and that was towards the end when I changed shoes. Testing out a different shoe didn't work so well. And so I was very happy with that. I've done a lot of marathons in the past, but none for several years. And I decided, I'm just too old to do that. And now I've decided, no, with proper training and thinking, you can do more. So I'm starting a 6-month training program for a marathon in January, and looking forward to taking 6 months to actually get in shape for one of those. And so I hope we'll see everybody back for season 2 for Al Hikes. I can't hardly wait. I'm actually already doing some changes in gear and some other things, and thinking a lot about food. For next year, I'm excited to get back and do another big section of the Pacific Crest Trail. Happy trails.